What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back. It's a Siege Double Shot bringing you a little bit of that XGS, a little Xenon action for you today as we head into Open Qual number 2, or at least getting close to the end of it here. Now, I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run.
That's right. Welcome back, everyone. It is XGS, and man, big tournament here. We have come down to the final day, the final open qualifier. No more teams possible, my friend. This is it. All of the rest of the teams locked in, besides the two games that are happening tonight. One over on the XGS channel, and then one here on SDS. And I know there's a big game going on, and we're going to be checking in on it constantly to decide see who is going to the 6th Invitational for the NALCQs. And honestly, I'm super happy we got to see Project Zero pick up that EU spot. A T2 team making it to SI is freaking unbelievable. And I can't wait to see what future players we're going to see here on the NA side fighting for their spot in XGS.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. A lot of Siege coming at you. But today, we got to start with this best of 3 run. Let's take a quick look at where in the world we're going for this one. It's a best of 3, and already I'm loving the map picks.
Oh, dude, this is a fantastic lineup. But we're getting to see Imperium of Man, a couple Warhammer fans, it seems, in the chat, versus Kraken Seas with some guys that for sure we know. But honestly, I freaking love this setup, my friend. Chalet Border gone, Bank Cafe. You know, there's some good ones in that list, but starting off on Chalet and then moving to Fortress. This is the first time we're seeing Fortress for us in anything below T1 at this point. We saw it twice yesterday during the SILCQs, or on Friday. That was it. That was the first time for us, and now it's making its way down into the T3 arena, my friend.
I love it, right? This is such a fun map, and not just this map specifically, but this set of maps. I mean, we go to potentially what could be an attacker-sided Chalet, and then into the new one. And Fortress has not disappointed, and you can tell also by how often it's being played in the comp scene already. It's brand new. It just started, and everybody is starting to try to stake their claim on this is our map. So, and then should fate deem it necessary, NightHaven Labs. We got to get into this one, Run. I think it's time to get going.
That's right, my friend. It is time for Chalet. Now, this, I know we talk about it all the time. One of my absolute favorite maps. I love getting to see this map in competitive play. A huge favorite for us for sure. So as we get into it, we're going to be checking out the bands. We're just jumping in, and I know it's a little bit of tech pause right at the beginning. So you know what? That's not a bad way to pull this off. Azami and Thermite to go, and honestly, with the buff that we've seen from Thermite across the board, that seems like a good one.
Okay, so let me switch my screens there. Okay, yeah, you talked about it. Getting hard breach is gone, and then on the other side of it, a couple of pace setters, right? Azami and Castle as well, to make sure that it's going to be easier to take that space quicker. Honestly, I like it.
Well, yes, that makes a huge difference. The ranged breach operator's gone. They take down the Azami and the castle. That's going to leave Mira on the board. And for sure, you can see, yeah, Joddle's bringing the Mira out immediately. So let's see if we can catch ourselves up with that. And bam, there it is. We're back in the game.
Let's go, absolute. And just you might hear a little bit a different sounding Run today. He's actually all the way up north. He's taking himself a little vacation and still bringing that siege right on to you. So here we are, getting into it. Chalet. Let's take a quick look at who the defense is bringing to the table here. One of the things when you're banning the Azami and the castle, one of the things that you get brought right along to it, Mira's still going to be available, Run.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The fact that that Hibana is still on the board, I mean, it makes her a little less valuable, but banning the Ace for sure makes the Mira significantly more valuable off the board. So I love seeing her on the board, and we talked about it right off the rip. And then, you know what? They don't have any of the hard to breach denials gone, so Tubrow and Bandit both going to make an appearance here, and that feels like a great pick as well. So going to slow down this Kraken Seas attack, and they've got some absolute gunners. Got a chance to talk to to Nas when I was in Philly for the NAL LAN finals, and you know what? He was on a rampage. Talked about how they got so close taking some maps off of the JJ and Co. When we were watching that, they got very close during the SI Open qualifying. So they're looking to make their mark here in the SGX season 8, and yeah, another player added on is Stealth off that XF5 roster joining Kraken Seas.
Yeah, it's sad to see that group broken up that was F5 previously, but happy to see Stealth here. They're going to get that Zoto canister and make sure those walls are going to stay closed up here, Run. That'll make it difficult, especially now that we're getting down to that last minute and 35 left onto the board, and they're going to try it again. And honestly, this bandit trick feels like it's going to go through.
I mean, they should be able to, and at this level of play, for sure. It's just a matter of making it a little bit slower, slowing this thing down. There it is. It's one, but then backed up by the two-brow to take him down. Man, that was well played there. You get the wall open, go for the bandit trick, but he was waiting in the corner for it, but it's answered back. Now into a 4v3 with that final minute of gameplay done, but they do have that top wall open. Problem is sights downstairs, so they have to make the transition down. You have to clear out the vertical, though. No way they're going to plant as long as you still have got Qualifer holding on to this office side.
Yeah, and that's going to be one taken, or main advantage now over to Imperium of Man as they sit in that 4v2. A grenade's going to ring out, try to force some movement on the Mirror Shield, and it's going to do just that. And that's going to result in a kill as Star's going to take Stokesy off the board. That's going to be the equalizer now. 3-3 as they're going to get in and just start making the plant for it. They're going to open up, try to find it, and they are at least going to stop it. A Vector rings out, Stealth goes down, and that's going to put us into a 3-2. Low health now for the Hibana as well. She gets reduced down to the half. A bit of a climb here for the attack if they want to try to bring this one back.
Yeah, I mean, they went for the defuse, but the problem is they didn't have the vertical control in play. That was not going to work. Just like we had talked about, it comes down to a 3v1. Kraken, the last guy left alive.
Well, starting to get the plant in, all right, and has to get off, takes the shot, almost finds a second, but just not quite rewarded for it. Almost had an explosive ending there.
Okay. Imperium of Man, a #1 down, defense in well in hand here to start this thing off. And honestly, I'm not surprised, right? We're talking about Chalet, a little bit defensive sided. The first floor sites have certainly become the primaries for this map across the board, whether you're T1 or T4 and everything in between. So the test on the tertiary, whether or not they're going to pick the basement or that second floor site, they're going to go basement here for the second. And you know what? I know this is a site we've talked about back. Is it too accessible with so many avenues to attack? Is it still a lockdown scenario? Right now, if Imperium of Man is doing a good job of managing vertical, I think that certainly makes basement an easier defensive hold. And a big question is how much of a focus they have upstairs in dining.
Yeah, well, does look like there's going to be a special investment into making sure some of those walls get closed. Cade's back on the board, or I mean, not back. Cade is on the board, and again, they're going to be using that two-brow to really try to slow things down. But kind of one of the highlight things for me here is Mute, bringing him a second time, really going to try to deny that intel of Kraken season. That's part of what played into that last round, right? Sometimes just couldn't figure out exactly where it was coming from, or where they were at and around. So I don't know. Seems like a good idea to keep it on the board. First one to go, though. Ouch. Stern out of there. That's two brows going to be missing, which means they might have a little bit easier time getting that wall opened up.
Well, I mean, it's one of the things I'd love to see, and we talk about it all the time from the defense, is how much aggression are you going to have to start this round out? How much pressure you're going to put on those on the approaching attackers? And I love the fact that they went for it initially, right? You're going to lose some of those, you're going to win some of those, but you're either going to cause the attacking team to have maybe a little bit of bravado coming up after losing that initial battle, or if he does hit that shot, it's going to cause the attackers to move just a little bit slower at the entry every round. I'm still going to expect these guys, Imperium Man, to be overly aggressive on defense. It is the best of 3, so you have plenty of time to try and come back from this. So yeah, take some chances at the beginning.
That's right. Use the environmental ingredient to go ahead and open up that hatch as they can start putting some pressure on vertically speaking. Warden is onto the blue stairs, ready to take the fight, and it's going to see that first contest potentially here on the Nomad and the Blitz as they start to make their way down, put some pressure on them. Not afraid, though. As that Blitz shield is there, it's not going to be able to do much against the special goggles. Instead, he's just got to hold on and just wait for it. But the cross is set. Maverick opened up the breach, and that's going to find one right off the board.
I love that play. I love that play. We talked about that one too. The Mav combo, usually backed up by a Glass, but you know what? He can take those shots himself initially, and yeah, you put yourself in a 4v2 here on the basement. Kraken sees is holding all the cards. The problem is you still have got a couple strong players, plus 2 C4s left with Mute and Cage, and there goes one. He's gonna hit that blitz. Nailed it.
Yeah, Stokesy sends one deep on, sends one deep onto stealth, and then gets traded back immediately. But defense is gonna find that one even amidst the attack's gonna find that one amidst the bees and everything. Right? They just util drop, get into sight, and potentially just hold on and hold the cross. I loved the play by the attack right at the gate. Right? Just good comms, hold the cut, force the Warden in some movement, and it resulted in that first kill, which ultimately got them the map.
Yeah, that was a W play there to start this thing off. So rather than go up to the second floor, they're going to try the alternative mid-floor site. This time, hold on to Bar Gaming. Bar Stage. Nobody plays that site. It's terrible. It almost is funny that Clubhouse feels like it's sort of fallen out of favor in competitive. We've seen not a ton of Clubhouse recently, and I think the novelty certainly of Fortress, now that we're starting to see some pro strats come out with C9 picking into that map 3 times as a part of their SILCQs. Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a fan favorite as the pro teams start to develop the strats and share them with the lower leagues.
5 seconds left before
I can't wait for Fortress, honestly. It was such a blast. Equalized here on the first 2. Mira's still on the board, obviously. Haven't got to the second part of the ban phase yet. So, yeah, obviously going to hold on to the vertical here with it. Frost, because it's a Chalet, want to stop that quick jump in from the windows and taking into that mud room. And then for the other operators run, it's just going to be business as usual.
I had a little bit of a slower start this time. No initial shots taken. We look at that. The C4 goes out. 3-4. I think it was 4 grenades tossed to try and clear out the tuber out. He freaking survives that barrage of attacker util, which is, almost a miracle. He lost half his health there, and that burned a ton of utility from Kraken Seas. They thought they were going to catch him, but that was a W play to hop down that hatch and escape. They know the area is clear now, so they're going to have the vertical on top of it, but it's still a little bit dangerous as that's a defensive stronghold downstairs. C4 is still in hand. They've got 1 left from Joddles, and he's playing over on the game side, so not exactly in a position to cover this, but close.
It's crazy that they're teasing us with that cooking animation on the nades, Ryan. It just reminds you of a better time. Sends Gadget poised on the window, going to be able to make a swing here as they take one, keeping him still locked inside this corner here. They've got him pinned down. They've got 2, but he still has an avenue to get out should it get a little bit too hairy. Twitch Drone now going to get in and take a look as they're seeing what the Mez position is like, and that's going to be Stealth to lose his life on the first. And a quick answer back, a C4 to claim 1. Stokesy on it. Now it's all going to be up to Star again in a 1v3 as Imperium of Man have just run away with round number 3.
Yeah, this one was good, and honestly, that library hold was the site where everything happened, all of the action happening up there, and the fact that one was able to hold on to the spot upstairs, take all the grenades, toss the C4 out, drop the hatch, and then rotate back up to pick up another kill upstairs. He was a significant part of the reason that round was so successful. So you're going to see Reekin just take a couple shots downstairs looking for 1. He gets it. Still has to find 2 more, though, and this time you still have got the stock player locked in.
There it is. A vector to ring out, a headshot to be had, and then the defense is going to claim one, and that's going to be the end of that first round rotate, the feeler rounds, if you will. And now it's got to run them back. Got to make that decision on how you're going to adapt here if you're Kraken Seas, right? Wasn't a bad performance by any means, but you definitely, on attack side for Chalet, feels like you should be walking away with a couple more W's.
Yeah, and it felt like, all right, they get one of the early spawn peaks. Didn't really felt like they could convert that into. I mean, they converted the spawn peak into a round win, but they couldn't carry that momentum into a follow-up round. So they lost both of the first floor sites at what feels like sort of as expected as the primary and secondary. That's
Attackers need to locate and defuse the
basement
bomb.
they struggled with it. We didn't get to see that second floor for theirs in the first quarter, and we're not going to see it to start off the second quarter either, as they will rotate back to that kitchen dining site. And they did a great job of holding the vertical upstairs, even though there was a lot of attacking pressure on that main wall. Just really weren't able to clear out office quickly enough. I like the fact that they went for the plant right early on, a little bit of objective-based gameplay, but that again wasn't enough when they didn't have the vertical control. So we'll see how Kraken Seas adapts this time around. It's a pretty similar lineup though for Imperium of Man. They're sort of locked into this this DMR, the nearest available, and when you had to choose which operator you were going to ban, was it the Two-Brow or the Mira? You know, Kraken Seas almost had a tough choice there because of how good the Two-Brow was. And he's playing the DMR, so easy switch over to the Aruni as the alternative.
Yeah, the Two-Brow, kind of a pain in the side of Kraken Seas. So yeah, get it off the board. No surprise on that one. Glaz, however, is going to make his appearance now. Of course, the new operator as well, or one of the new operators, Aurora, on the board. Going to seal off some of those doorways, give him a little bit easier access point to get in and start putting some pressure on the top of the solarium. Smoke's gonna ring out. Now it's onto the stairs to see if anybody was sitting down. Nobody is, so no pressure from the bathroom either. And they've got themselves in and taken some very good real estate very quickly.
Yeah, I love this glass push, backed up by the DMR. They're going to get tons of intel from the Lion scan going out, but they haven't been able to make that transition in. Glass is causing chaos, but another C4 hit, and then, man, Mira takes another off the board. How about two? Joddles is having a hell of a game at 7-2.
Man, and we'll just call it Imperium Man find a flawless round as the defensive setup just couldn't be moved, right? It was a shutdown moment, and it absolutely worked. Defense is standing tall, and now they're up by 2.
Yeah, when the defense is great with the DMR and you're having to choose which one you want to try and get rid of, whether it's the Two-Brow or the Aruni, right? I mean, he's obviously skilled with that gun, that plays either way. So it was a tough choice for Kraken Seas, and losing the Grim on the defensive side, I think it gave them a little bit more flexibility to move around, even though the Lions scans sort of gave them some of that same intel, even with the glass upstairs. Well played there by the Imperium of Man defense to shut it down. And now we get to see the second floor. After all the action happening basically in this exact same spot, let's go ahead and move site there.
Hey, not a bad spot to find yourself in. It's been working out well. We just park the bomb site right on it. Defense, it's going to be the similar lineup that you've been watching, so not really affected outside of the Two-Brow, right? But then again, you're saying it as well. We're still getting that DMR in hand to be able to take those long-distance fights. A little bit of intel, stop some of that quick action with the Frost. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and this defense ain't broke.
I know there was some questions in the chat. The answer is this is it, my friends. One Bo3 in XGS, while 2 of them happening simultaneously to decide who are the final 2 qualified teams from the Open Qualifier 2. They get the opportunity to play in the closed qualifier next weekend. The winner of this game and the winner of the F5 Skyline game are the 2 that are going to make it to the closed qualifier next weekend. So, man, look at that. The Observer showing us a long-range shot, taking down the attacker. Can take gone this time. So this one, That's exactly what Imperium Man was looking for, and Kraken Seas won that battle initially, lost it this time around. Definitely unfortunate turn of events to start this thing in a 4v5.
It's interesting to see Chalet at the T3 level, right? Because on the international stage, Chalet has become so attacker sided that it's kind of up near like the border-esque territory where you're kind of on the standard split, you're looking at that attacker sided, but here it's that nod towards nostalgia, right? They're still based in the fundamentals and making sure that we're just holding zones and getting our comms right, and here it is, it's defensive sided, and they're looking to try to shut another one down again with that first early pick. All they got to do is hold on and wait for the trades now.
Yeah, you can afford to play this thing a little bit slower, unless it's shot down early. That's huge. They lose the Cade. He's already got his utility down, but I don't know if he used the C4 already, or they lost that piece of util. So huge pick here to start this thing off. And the problem is you still have got the Aruni and the DMR holding on to that upstairs office, and Valk downstairs. She is the one that has this huge lurk opportunity. So they've blocked off the wall using the Rower Gadget. I love that one. Prevented her from being able to move around herself. Completely punishes her for it. Well played using the gadget to make that happen.
Man, and then a quick fire back as all of a sudden we find ourselves locked up 3 apiece. Shots off the windows. Going to see a little bit of blood splatter, but not really enough to get anything done. But now trapped in that corner. Star's going to take Stern off the board as now they claim that main advantage on the side of Kraken Seas. A push from the bathroom could net a huge profit. Frost is able to find one. Now taking the swing towards the window. It's going to be Star to find it again. Now all of a sudden it's up to Clip here. He's got to get him better in this 1v2, and they've just got the hold. They've got the cross, they've got the set, and they've got the good night.
Wow, using the feet holes against the defense after, again, great use of the utility, great play off the utility there from Stealth and the Rower downstairs in the kitchen, and then backs it up with that game winner upstairs using the footholds. So well played by Kraken. That second floor sites, the off sites, which is funny to say for second floor and basement on Chalet, the two places the attackers win some rounds. If you want to call it defensive sided, attacker sided, I mean, we're pretty close either way. Kraken Seas has already picked up their second, looking to tie this thing up. 3-3 going into the half. And what a game we've got on our hands.
Absolutely. Okay, so last round of the first half, the first map. Instrumental, impactful for both teams here, right? Want to be on that standard split before you get onto the attacker side of things for Imperium of Man. And if Kraken Seas can find that extra, can find that third, tie it up into that equalizer, they're going to feel pretty good going into their defensive half. So really a big round for both of these teams, and not much in the way of changes as far as who they're bringing to try to get that job done. I do like the Flores pick, right? A little bit of a change up here where you're going to focus on getting rid of some of that extension utility. It's going to be forcing that Mira off that power position, holding on to the long angle so you can take some of that space. That's a pretty decent adaptation. We'll see if it plays out.
To me, the interesting one is that Attackers didn't bring the Hibana. One of the things that certainly makes that hold difficult, and a really important point that they need to open up is, first, they got to clear out the shield top blue, and then second, they need to open up the wall between the fireplace stairs and stock. And you have to have a ranged breach to try and pull that off. It's difficult, or maybe impossible for Maverick to do. They didn't bring a Hibana to make that happen. That to me is surprising and a little bit concerning. But man, what a shot! Long range from Clip. Just taking a shot through the window, catching the attacker unaware. So now, Star, you said it, gone. Not going to have that flank watch in hand, but Jottle is going to answer back, taking down one of the heroes from the previous round. Stealth ties this, or no, not ties up. 3v4 at this point as we've gone that first minute of gameplay.
Yeah, and just still so much time left on the board, right? If an attack can find one, equalize, they can pull themselves right back into it, but defense just has got to hold steady. They don't have to throw they don't have to throw bodies, excuse me, as they've got mirrors to just lean against at the moment, and the Warden is still alive, so flashes, if you had them, ineffective. Minute 30. All I got to do is hold on here and play off the trade.
Yeah, I mean, half this round is gone, but that's still half the round left for the attackers to try and make this happen. So you still have got Joddles in the mirror playing downstairs, holding on to bar, but look at that. Shots from outside. The power position upstairs on Mez. No pressure from the hallway window. Yeah, that's unfortunate, and a little bit of a mistake there for the Kraken C's attack, allowing him to operate in that spot.
Man, Frost Mat, there it is. The reason that you play it on Chalet every single time is you're gonna get caught unaware going for one of those default pushes. It does get answered back, but the damage has been done. 1v3 now is almost have to try to bait a couple of these kills in to bring this one back into contention. They're still vertical. They're still in sight. And, friend, the diffuser is cold. Utility's winning this round, maybe. Now jumping out was, faking going for the defuse. Instead, it's going to go back for the kills. A quick shot towards the mirror, but not going to find anything just yet. A back and forth. There it is. There's one. Triple kill. Puts on pace for the ace. Gets the down. All of a sudden, run. This becomes winnable. 11 seconds left. Does he know that he did it? They're going to take shots towards the closet of grenades there, but it's going to be the Vector on the other side of it, not to be pushed out of the closet. Almost had it. We can break out the barbecue sauce for the 4-piece, but it wasn't quite enough to fill it up.
That was the risk right there. It's what we were talking about. The problem is they had fireplace open. He couldn't really push in that main door, put any pressure on the Mez player because that's such a difficult position to fight from downstairs. Much easier to guard when you're upstairs from the defense. But they couldn't put pressure on Stock directly. The wall wasn't open from the top of the stairs. No ability to try and take some shots, push the mirror out of that position from behind the window. She was able to just wait and watch and then swing with that intel. So the defense picks up another round. Imperium of Man goes 4-2, and now into the next set of bans. And interesting, this time Imperium wants to play that fundamental siege, and they take care of the breach denial ops with both Cade and Bandit going down. Going to give them free reign to open up all those walls, and the fact that Kraken sees from the defense side, they didn't ban any of the hard breach ops. They got rid of the Capital and the Thatcher, which Thatcher is a great ban, but the fact that they
Attackers need to locate and
have to
defuse
worry
as many
about
bombs as
the
they can.
Cade or the Bandits really doesn't. It's interesting. Like Thatcher doesn't have nearly as much utility in that case.
Thatcher is so good, Run. Let me break it down for you, baby. Banshees, laser gates, and Wamai discs. There's 3 sets of huge utility that you have to take off the board to take those critical spots. And I'm talking top of blue stairs, Mez, and then ultimately getting into sight. Capital gone means that obviously they're not going to be able to take that corner, but you get the Thatcher, you can overcome all of those things, right? A quick blast of that EMP allows those Wamai discs to be gone so you can nade out the corner, allows those Banshees to be gone so you can both swing at the same time, and takes the laser gates down as well. The Thatcher ban, in my honest opinion, is going to become more and more prevalent as we go on, because now, with him being able to direct exactly what he's taken off the board, that thing is huge.
As we're getting this thing set up, I mean, you said it. All right, good point. A lot of electronic utilities spread across the board here from this Kraken C's defense. And if you don't have the Thatcher to try and clear it, use the Brava. I think this is a fantastic map for Brava. So many opportunities to try and, good drone hold locations to be able to get in and steal that utility without putting the drone in some serious danger. So the nades are coming out. This power position here at the top of Mez, holding on to the library closet, the E-box. And look at this, the C4 coming up from below. But man, all of this all this explosive utility not hitting anything.
Yeah, only really playing the stall game out of it right now, and cheeky little drone as Stokesy gets one right off the chassis, taking a look at what exactly is looking in sight, and honestly, might have just gotten a kill right off of that. That's going to be the first one as a Rooney goes down, and that's a devastating DMR loss at this point.
And going for another piece of Brava util there, but that time it loses the drone in play. So they still have got a ton of attacker util in hand. Smokes, flashes, nades. Still, the problem is shield, top blue, still in play. The Flores drone's only one left. They've got one air jab here to try and clear it out, but I don't feel like they have really gained enough space yet at this point to be able to clear that shield out. You still have got the library on lockdown as well.
Lots of steps still to be had here, and not very much time to get it done. Stokesy's able to find one, though, and that starts to feel a lot better as Star goes down. It's having a retreat down the blue stairs as they've taken some of that critical space now. But look at this, a cheeky angle potentially through the wall once they make their way close to it. Will he understand that the pressure is still there from below? Yeah, he's going to avoid it entirely, and they're just going to start to put the pressure straight onto the door. Void's going to take one off the board, and they're just wall bangs and pre-firing. They're looking to get this one done early, my friend. Stealth goes down. It's a 5v1. Finally able to stop the flow of bleeding, but not for very long. It's a down, not an out, so we'll call it flawless.
Damn, that's the second one that they've had. One on defense, one on attack. Imperium of Man right now looking like certainly the team to beat. So this was their map pick. Expected them to come in strong off the rip here. Oh wait, actually, you know what? I'm saying that, and now I'm actually not sure. This was the Kraken C's map pick, and the fact that they're struggling, I think, is a little bit more indicative, and puts this in a little bit of a different light. If they're going into Fortress and Imperium of Man is prepped and ready on that, this best of 3 might be over in 2.
Yikes. Okay. You said it. One away from that match point scenario. As those bands went through and went to the Cade and the Bandit, means that the Mirror is still on board. And look at this yet again run. There's just going to be a ton of utility being brought out here in the hands of the Mute Jammers. Even the smoke canisters can be affected by that EMP. Denari, the Trip Connectors, and the Fenrir would be an awesome time to have a Thatcher getting in to try to face this defense for sure.
That's a good point, man. Good choice overall here for the defense. And then, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and lean on you for that. Now, I love this setup, too, where you've got the shield in the bathtub. And if he goes and, maybe uses the trip connector over the top, we've seen it used to block both of those side of the windows, the bathroom and the piano window, with the trip connector over top of that wall. A lot of utility for just 3 of the 7 usage. See, and see where he's got the rest of them placed out. I didn't catch where he had put them, but from the attacking side, opening a lot of this up, and man, heavy on the drones here with both the Twitch and the Bravo. They're going to want to make sure they know everything that Kraken sees in doing.
First minute off the board. No real contest, just opening up some sight lines, putting some pressure on that sight overplay. A little information, and that's going to be a late round Mira into the closet there. Now, it is one of those defaults for up top, so not going to be a surprise to see it there, but I like leaving it in the pocket until most of drones have done their work, so it's not something necessarily that you know right when you get up to start to face it. Bold move by the defense. We'll see if it plays off. Thermite now to start opening it up and force these players back, and here's what we're looking for. You push them off that top floor, you open down below, and then plant off the chassis. It doesn't require very much vertical, and it doesn't require very much space inside of sight either. You hold both down, you're getting yourself in for an execute.
We got a chance to see where the trip connected. I mean, they had a long distance play all the way basically covering the entire solar stairs side through the wall over to West Main as well. That is an interesting setup. That's one I'm going to want to see in ranked more often as well, because very cool the way that they did that with opening up that floor on the bottom side of those stairs. Now, and you can see it just off the side of the screen, covering both of the solar windows as well. So, whether they chose, we're gonna go ahead and hold the bathroom piano side of this with our guns. We're gonna let some of this electronic utility cover the bottom piece of it. And already we saw the Imperium man drones needed to burn some, toss away drones to clear those, and they reset so quickly. There's a ton of utility for Denari on this map, and I think we're gonna see his pick rate only increase here.
Well, still holding on to that man advantage with 30 seconds left. Now they're going to double up on it, but it's a couple of low health scenarios, a couple stray bullets to put a couple players of Kraken seas down. Some shots onto the Thermite now as they're trying to find themselves a potential way in to start the execute. Thermite is going to find one. C4 is going to get launched. It's going to get shot out of the air. Thermite good for 2. 8 seconds left as now man advantage has been equalized. Looking towards that vertical. He's just got to hold on to it and stick to plant, but he's not going to be able to do it. No time and no live. Kraken Seas is going to find one and get a little closer to tying this one up.
Damn, we didn't get to see how much of the planter's body was exposed that he got to take the shot from up above, because that death cam all focused on dropping the hatch and cleaning up. But well played there by Kraken Seas to answer back. They were one away from match point. They pick up now, a little bit closer, 5-3 scoreline, picking up that first floor site, and that was a good one. A lot of denial, a lot of slowdown. I loved the Denari setup. So now the question is, where do they go? They choose, rather than rotate back to the Bar Gaming side, they're going to try the second floor site, and sort of changing this lineup up. Yeah, instead of the Wamai, they're going to go with the Jaeger this time around, and then play the Sentry, which, I mean, honestly, Sentry feels like has been a W pick recently.
Yeah, just a ton of different util that you can be brought to the table, and since we had those defensive breach denial bans, means the castle's going to be left on board here. Not going to be utilized with the mirror, which is sometimes one of those fun combo moves that'll really slow you the heck down. But since it's the top floor site, it's going to allow them to have a bit of an extension, right? It's going to allow them to force the attacking operators to bring along some utility that maybe they wouldn't have last time. Flores is going to be the one to get the job done for that.
All right, get into it. I mean, still a little bit of a late setup here for the Kraken Seas defense, and tons of time spent upstairs over. They have not really put a lot of utility over in the library side, though. No real hold over on that side of the map at all. Just over on the hallway in the piano side. So, almost giving away, sort of baiting, inviting this attacking team into library, trying to hold on some of these long angles, sort of similar to what we saw from that aerial arise SBL style hold upstairs on the second floor.
Okay, still no action to be seen. I love the Solus on board. I love even more that it's a shotgun in hand to try to get the job done. I love the P90. I really do. It's an absolute laser beam. But a Solus with a shotgun just feels like the right move. A couple of shots is going to see Sentry done and dusted off the board. That's going to be another kill for Chottles. And look at that. It's 12-4, just having an incredible game right now. And a big reason that they sit in that 5-3 current scoreline. Shots towards, shots towards Piano as the Flores drones, the Roteros start to ring out. Has to go into a prone position now as the flashes are there as well, and it's just overwhelming force as they start to make their way in. Answered back, Stokesy goes down. It is going to be Star to find one as well. Clip to answer back, and now they claim that man advantage, but not any longer as they are in a 1v1, an old-fashioned standoff, and they got a little bit of an idea where each other is at. Close just on the other side of the wall. A couple of pre-fire shots, not going to find anything just yet. Diffuser is down inside, but going to be retrievable. In fact, so could the buddy system if he just sticks it right now. Getting up close, no time to do it. He has to take the gunfight. 54 seconds, so it's still so much time. The confirmation, now holding on to Piano. And it's a good night's sleep. Titus clip gets clipped.
Yeah, perfectly played there by the defense. DJ was spot on with his crosshair placement. Both sides get the confirm, and then expecting the rotate around on Ivy. Just well played on his part, and Kraken sees pick up another. And what is a little bit of a defensive sided Chalet here to start off with. This was their map pick, so for sure expected Kraken sees to do well. I was concerned when the scoreline was sitting at 5-2 that they really weren't putting in the work and getting the results that they wanted, but now when you're talking about 5-4, significantly closer, great spot right now. Now the bans are done, and we're going to lose the Mira and the Brava, both very powerful operators on both sides. You're going to have to make some adjustments in how they manage it now without those two.
The climb back run. Map number 1 is not going to go out without a story. One away from tying this one back up, and it is all defense on the side of Chalet. Not able to get many attacking things going at all. It is going to be a switch up on what the defense is bringing to the table, and it's going to go more towards that pace setting, more to that time torch, as the literal torch is there. The Goyo canisters are on board, and the Kiva barriers. A little bit of intel in the hands of Valkyrie. This is definitely a defense that is going to make sure that they are trying to slow down every single second that they can, and just hold firm under the pressure when we get to the end of it. See if Imperium Man is going to put themselves onto that match point scenario, or if they're going to let this one get tied up.
Well, with the way that Kraken Seas has been playing the previous 2 rounds, it feels like we're going to see that tied up 5-5 at this point. They managed to find wins on both the 2 first floor sites, or sorry, one of the first floor site and the second floor site to put them at 5-4. They lost Bar Gaming, so they're going to try that one again. And honestly, the improvements they've made, it feels like it's definitely a better setup. They're going to keep all of that electronic utility in hand, force the Imperium of Man team to utilize the Flores and the Hibana a little bit better, a little bit more carefully, and to use the IQ to try and find where all of those are at, especially because Star is running that Valkyrie to give them all of that extra intel that they are not going to be able to steal with the Brava. But I mean, they do have the option with the Dokkaebi if they can get her and keep her alive to be able to steal one of those. But look at this, that opening engagement, and man, clip goes down.
Yeah, absolutely baited into it, right? A couple of quick peeks, and then the hold the line, hold the trigger, and finds the entry kill, and that's going to take the flank watch off the board too. So huge first opening pick here for the defenses. Now it's just going to be trade game. They've got intel for days, denial for days. It's going to be up to Imperium of Man to try to bring this one back, and it's going to have to result off a multi-kill.
All right. Oh, man, what a great pick there to start this thing off. 4v5. I mean, Star is sitting at a very, very low health, but you still have got 3 full health operators at this point. They have not given away library. They're still fighting for it. They lose the top of blue, so there's an opportunity there, but no way. Man, the Vector is just hitting. It's got to account for half of the kills on the map today, it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. When it sings, death it brings, and that's exactly what it did in that double. And now up to Dokkaebi to bring it back, and honestly just has to be perfect. Do you take the faux timeout here, or do you put pedal to the metal and see if you can bring something back? One thing you can know, it is definitely not going to be throwing bodies on the side of the defense. They just got to hold on to this one.
Oh, yeah, faux timeout. And then actual real timeout also called. They already called for it here, so we're going to see it at the conclusion of this round. But, yeah, go ahead and back off the engagement, talk about it a little bit, because you're going to lose 3 in a row at this point after what was a very dominant first half of the game. It really seemed like they had an answer for everything that Kraken Seas was bringing on the attack. They've struggled on their attacks, struggled to gain, a ton of space, the right kind of space, losing some of those 1v1 gunfights when they go ahead and try and take them. They're not getting not a ton of spawn peaking pressure, at least initially, but it's just not working for Imperium of Man right now. They're going to get one free one, but you said they're not going to throw bodies at the problem, and that is the 3rd in a row for Kraken Seas, and they tie this thing up.
All right, 5 apiece, defensive stronghold, defensive battle. Both teams sort of dug in, and then here it is. It's the timeout, right? Figure out what in the heck is going on. How did you lose those last 3 in a row to find yourself tied up and both on the precipice of that match point scenario? Fix that mistake and then get back at it. We'll see if it's going to work. Will the timeout buff be in play? We didn't see it quite work on the tier 1 streams yesterday, outside of Cloud9, who did it 2 times in a row.
Yeah, Cloud9 was very successful with the timeout buff, and the fact that you got to, 2 of the clear Leos. Jotl is going crazy right now for sure for the Imperium Man team, and then I, Devin is having a great game as well, sitting at 14. So there's good gunners on both sides of this. Imperium Man picked up 2 flawless rounds, but it was in the first 7 total rounds. Since that point, they have really struggled, and that 3 in a row from Kraken put down a huge statement here. Like I said, these guys, if you didn't get a chance to watch the early SQ opens that we had on the Siege Double Shot stream, we saw Kraken Seas play JJ and Co, who now unfortunately is eliminated, but they made it all the way to the playoffs. A pro team, they got close, and it was on Chalet that they got so close on that map. And you know what, they were feeling pretty good about putting up 5 rounds against the pro team. So they made a couple roster changes with Stealth joining here, so it's not exactly the same roster, but you know what? This is a team that was at high expectations coming into this, and if you let them get momentum right now, they are carrying it forward. Plus, it's their map pick, and depending on how confident they are on Fortress, this is one they have to win.
Attackers are moving.
I'm so happy we get to see some Fortress play. I'm also happy to see the switch up here in the defense, right? Timeout allows you to kind of talk through some strats, and what's something that the comms obviously said they needed? More slowdown, right? I got a fever, and it's for more pace setters is the only prescription here. And so Clash is going to be on the board. Smoke's going to be on the board. Fenrir and the trip connectors. I mean, these are all just basically meant to just torch the heck out of whatever you're trying to do. Any space that you're trying to take, any double gunfights you're trying to get. I think this is the right call out of Star.
You know what's kind of crazy is this is really one of the least amount of shields we've seen played on any map recently. It's almost always somebody, at least one shield. Rob, we haven't seen it on attack, on defense, not banned either. Neither team, liking the shield. Neither team really leaning into that for either attack or defense. For the first time here on round 11, we're going to see it. And Kraken sees hoping the Clash is going to be that piece that completely locks down their kitchen dining defense. And yeah, if you're here for some Denari play, I mean, Nas has had some great setups, and there is this crazy one that they have over top of the Solarium window. So love getting to see how that one is working out now. They tried to get a Twitch drone in. Clip was there, but does not work out. Loses the Twitch drone, I think, before they're really able to take clear out any of this utility. They've got complete control over on the library and Mez side, but that's because Kraken is locked in over on the office bedroom side.
First kill is going to go down. It's going to be against the Fenrir as Stokesy's able to find the first one, and that's a huge kill. You just took the frag leader, not just the frag leader of Kraken Seas, but like almost by double the frag leader of Kraken Seas. So huge pick, huge impactful play, and that's kind of been the case, right? Take him off the board. He's the win con. Take him down, win round. That's exactly what they needed to do if they wanted to put themselves on a match point.
That's a good first place to start it off, but the problem is, you still have got the Clash still alive here, but they're running out of time. You're talking about 35 seconds left, 9 players left alive in this lobby, my friend. It's about to go crazy.
Yeah, kill feed about to light up, absolutely, as long as they can make it past some of this defensive lineup that they've got in place. Even though they're down in the numbers, they've still got the smoke canisters to just went out. They still have a C4 in hand and the Clash to be utilized. So Twitch drone now getting in, 10 seconds left, trying to get something active, not being able to move. It is going to see a couple of shots onto Stern. I mean, hello? Are they going to get into an engagement here? There Kraken! Kill feed lights up, plant going down, easily defended because the vertical was still there. Sheesh, that plant wasn't there till like 2 or 3 seconds before the timer was gone. Sheesh.
1.43 seconds, it looked like, just catching it when that plant went down. So Imperium of Man tried it. They were right there, fought for it until the very last literal second of the round. But you said it, without the vertical control, that kitchen dining site is nearly impossible to get the plant down on. There's a couple spots where you at least get the opportunity to try and hide, but it's so easy to rotate upstairs that and all of that breachable floor, it is very difficult to try and hold without the vertical in play. And that puts Kraken Seas now 4 in a row, my
Defenders,
friend.
protect your bombs from being
4
Yeah,
in a row on match point.
Man, we talked about at the beginning of the round, and that's exactly how it played out. It was time Torch City, still at 12 seconds left. Twitch was still on the drone, still trying to get those trip connectors gone just so they could make it into the site even. Man, what an absolute masterclass at making sure you can't do anything fast. And now, Kraken Seas, match point scenario. Who they bring along? Well, it's a similar lineup to what you saw last time they played up on the 2F. Is again leaning into that same philosophy of slowdown, just not as much of it present this time.
I mean, it's one that worked. Right? We saw it back on Round 9. The only difference is they had the mirror available, but this time, you know what? They've shown they don't need the mirror to make this work for them. This was a good combination here that played out on Round 9. So looking, you know, feels like the one thing they're missing is they don't have the Denari, but if you're not expecting that big transition down from solar to put pressure on that kitchen dining site, maybe it's not one. But just as we say, Shield's not really making an impactful part of this map. We see Clash one round and then Blackbeard the next. As we're seeing Imperium of Man say, all right, we're going to need a shield maybe to try and give us a little bit of advantage, clear out space. And how about pick up the first kill? Oh, man, that's Devin goes down again as the opening pick.
Yeah, well, we called it as the win con earlier, but it didn't win. The condition was met, and they didn't find the W on it. So, yeah, I would say this feels pretty good for Imperium of Man, except for couldn't get it down on the last one. And now they find themselves equalized on the man advantage. 4-4, they said, and that feels like a good trade back. You get a C4 off the board as stealth goes down. Now you claim the man advantage. Plenty of time to kind of reset, readdress, and then get ready to hit the bingo.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot. They basically gain complete control of the solar stairs upstairs. Solarium is the hold on to the attack. So Kraken Seas is going to have to try and back off. I was going to say, try and back off, my friend. Don't go for that shot again. He hits one, but it's down to a 1v3, and that is the plant going down. Tries to catch one, but they're going to get it. Upstairs, uncontested.
Yeah, tough place to find yourself now as they're just retaking up near the piano area, and you got to deal with your own defenses now and a mobile shield. So they're just going to start pushing up the pinch maneuver potentially. He doesn't even have to move, right? All he has to do is just watch and wait. Get ready for that bash to come through, and there it is. Beep, beep, boop, got him. That's going to tie us up. Run. You're not going to believe this. We're going to overtime.
Honestly, I would believe it. We're down to the final game to decide who is qualifying to XGS. And the prize pool, my friend, $3,000 on the line. And the opportunity to play all of the teams that had made it into, the T2 teams that had made it into Element 5, Element 6, and the SILCQs all invited, plus 8 teams out of the open qualifiers for this weekend, for last weekend. It is going to be incredible match for Season 8. $3,000 on the line here for these teams. So, yeah, fight to the death. And we know we're going to Fortress next. So, Kraken Seas, we're expecting them to come out swinging at us. Super strong part of the second half of this map. But it was Imperium of Man that cleaned it up, closed it out, and sent us to overtime.
It was a hell of a win too, because like that was just starting to completely slip away with them. What was it, 4 or 5 in a row that Kraken Seas had just taken off them, bringing it back and then taking that scoreline lead. So huge round. Now we're in overtime, and now it's gonna see Star back onto the clash. This was the this was the round-winning defense we saw last time. The exact same 1.43 meta plant is because everything just took so long to be able to get through. They're setting it straight back up.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, the solar side was the hinge point for the entire defense 2 rounds in a row. The problem is it went either, you know, one to each of the teams. That first round in round 11 is still, it's the same setup we had here. The combination of the Clash Janari. They used the trip connectors, completely locked down solar, made it difficult and held down the vertical here. What do they do when it's the second floor site? Completely lost the solar side. It just fell apart, and Imperium Man exploited that. They didn't have the Denari, they didn't have the Clash to try and back that up, and it didn't work at all for them. So you know what, go back to the lineup that was successful, and honestly this feels like it plays into better to how Kraken Seas has been running their defense.
Yeah, huge first opening pick as well. Now they can just wait on that slow down, wait on that time torch, and wait with that clash in hand. So needing some multi-kills here out of Imperium of Man to bring this one back, and otherwise they're going to get, well, I mean, the next one's their defense, right? So arguably they should probably find that, but then they're going to have to find a way to do it again.
You
Still
know,
2
and
minutes.
The other thing that was interesting was we saw Devon here. He was sitting at 15, 10, and 4. He was the opening pick in 2 rounds. Your top frag goes down, the rest of the team has got to fight it out. They pull off 1, they lose 1 when the top frag is that opening pick. So he's got to stay alive a little bit longer. Now in a 5v4 scenario, this looks very good for Kraken Seas. You still have got the Fenrir left alive. You still have got the Clash. This one feels significantly better. And honestly, I love the fact that Stealth is on the smoke here. A little bit of the area now that might slow this team down, but oh no, look at this. The top frag goes for the shot, does not get it. Is he recoverable? There's way too much pressure from this attack, I think, to be able to pick him up.
Yeah, not just too much pressure too. We're talking about win cons and KDs, right? It's a couple players on the side of Imperium, man, who are sitting in that same realm, right? Stokesy and Stern, both up in that double-digit kill as well. But it is going to be Jottles just to continue to just rain down havoc. He's on pace for the 20 bomb now as he hits number 17.
Wow. Honestly, I'm a little bit shocked at how this round went. Imperium of Man was just, after picking up that shot with Devon trying to go for that shot on Fluke Backdoor and losing that battle was the turning point for this round. Imperium of Man picked off the top frag, cleaned it up, and there was nothing the Clash could do to just sort of lock this thing in, and we are on a 7-6. As Imperium of Man is up in the round count, and Kraken Seas now has to try and pull it off on attack, which it was a 4-2 split for them. Imperium of Man picked up their attacking round when it mattered here in overtime.
Okay, the pressure is on for this map. You don't want to lose your map pick, and then you have to go to an unfamiliar, or maybe not unfamiliar, but newer map, Fortress, to try to bring that one back. Try to send yourself to map number 3. So, big game, or big round for Kraken right now. Can they tie it up, or is this one going to be over and done? Mira back on the board. Didn't take her out with that 3rd ban, so it's going to be something you have to deal with here towards that late round. It's worked out very well for Imperium of Man over the last couple of times they played it. What's the answer here out of Kraken Seas?
All right. So we look at where Kraken Seas picked up wins was on the offsites. The basement, the 2F, they didn't win any of their first 4 attacks here on this round. So they did get a good look at how Imperium Man was playing it from the defensive side. One of the things that felt like that was a bit of a miss was the fact that they didn't, this Kraken Seas attack didn't bring any of the ranged hard breach to be able to push Jottles out of this stock side mirror window. And they did it again. Nas is running the Mav, but I don't think you can open up that wall. At least they didn't open it up on that previous round. They don't have the Hibana to be able to try and pull it off. They don't have access to Ace, but Hibana's still there. That feels like a huge miss. And wow, right now it just feels like Vaughn is trying too hard, right? He was the carry for the entire team, just trying too hard to pull it off, taking swings, challenging everybody here on the Imperium man side and losing that battle. Sure, Nas is going to pick up one to even this thing up, but man, that is an incredible number of opening deaths for him. He should be sitting at 20 if he could have just stayed alive a little bit longer in some of these rounds.
Yeah, well, it's been the spawn peaks, and I don't necessarily know that it's challenging the spawn peak or just getting absolutely blasted and caught off guard, because, yeah, I mean, definitely could win some more of those gunfights for sure. Unfortunately, yeah, he's down, he's dusted. That's the top frag gone. It does get equalized and taken Stern off the board. That DMR and that 12-9 feels like a good equalizer here if you're a Kraken Seas fan, but yet again, you've got some work to do for some of these other folks. Jottle's able to take one off the board. He's going to be he is going to be the one that has to be dealt with. Clip goes down, but it's just falling apart. Defense, or attack now under some fire as Nas is going to be the last one alive, and he's going to have to be perfect for these three to bring it back.
Yeah, this is not a wait-and-see scenario. This is not a time for an opportunity for a timeout. He has got to pick up his operator here. He gets one kill off the back. Look at that. Well played for him. Now into a 2v3 as both of the down players get recovered with 50 seconds left. This is significantly better scenario for Kraken Seas, but they're going to have to be pixel perfect for the last 40 seconds.
Okay, well, it's starting to count down. You called it. Now, just a little bit of that sight direct, but the big problem is that they don't have diffuser either, so it's got to be kills. Looking for something cheeky on the drone hole, something to find that equalizer, and that's going to be the sound cue now that, of course, they are pushing from, at least one of them is pushing from this direction. It's in through mud. Frost Trap not going to be an option as he continues to make that push forward. Barbed wire goes down, some more sound cues, and now it's that Mira, the thing you didn't want to deal with that you got to. Stokesy finds one, Giles finds another, and that's going to be a good map for number one as it rings out in the all chat.
8-6 victory for Imperium of Man on the Kraken Seas map pick. Well played by them. That one looked like it was just absolutely locked in. Man, solid play from them. And as we go to cams, my friend, 8-6 victory. This is, you know what? I felt like Kraken Seas, man, they looked like they had locked in and were going to pull this off. Imperium Man was just better in the long run and managed to carry that momentum forward into overtime in just the right way. Well played by them. But it's only map one of the best of three. Still more opportunity and can't wait for it. Fortress is up next.
Oh man, Fortress, it's going to be a banger. An investment on the second floor, disaster on the first. How are you going to push it? How are you going to hold it? We're going to find out for map two right when we come back. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back. Map number 2 is ready, and this one, run Fortress. Oh man, should be a treat.
My friend, looking forward to this one. We got a chance to see it. We talked about it in the SILCQs. Cloud9 picked into that thing twice. And fantastic that we got to see the pros play it out, some of the strats. And you know what? All the lead up, we had seen that the second floor was going to be the place that the teams loved, that those were going to be the strongest sites. But we saw first floor defensive wins on this map. It is not the worst place that you can try and play. Those first 4 sites still have some viability. I think partially because of where those hatches are, they don't provide that sort of same vertical coverage you get like you have on Chalet. So the players and the teams are going to have to work around that significantly better this time around. This is Imperium of Man's map pick. They are up 1-0 in the best of 3. They're looking to qualify to the XGS $3,000 tourney, my friend, and it is almost time. You ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. And you know what was one of the fun parts about Fortress yesterday being played out is that first floor sometimes chosen as a secondary. Oxygen, right? Just valued going to that first floor as the secondary. And they won it, and they did it decisively. So, it's all up in the air right now. One thing that I do know, Horse is going to be a big spot of contention, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a smoke ban.
Yeah, that we saw JJ versus Cloud9 just have an incredible game upstairs, playing on, holding on to the top of the stairs. Just what a gameplay overall.
First one off the board, no surprise, it's going to be the Mira and the Monty. Shields taken down. This is definitely a map where both of those kind of are pretty big factors towards holding on and taking that top part. When we saw a ton of Shield play yesterday on Fortress, as it was great for that just incredible site overplay where you're just taking a bunch of real estate very early on and relatively without any repercussions. And then on the defense, they're going to go with their own shield. Clash is going to go down, and the cheese up on the other side. Ying, Candela's done with. All right, let's get into it then. 2F, second floor, Commander to start us out. Honestly, probably going to remain one of those big first floor sites. You heard this referenced a lot yesterday, like Villa, where you have to get yourself into that side over site play. And that is true for a pretty big extent of this, right? The only other part that's fun is that you still can have that split push as that main stair and that tower drop being so important to taking that space as well. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle this one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Commander certainly was the primary site overall. It seemed like the teams from the upstairs preferred that, but you know what, a bit of 50-50. I think we're still trying to figure out which one of those sites, but I certainly expect we're going to see both of them here to start. Now, the other thing is, yeah, a lot of Ella being run. If you're expecting the other team to bring out some of the shields, I think the shield break and some of these hallways, right? It almost gives a little bit of that Villa feel. We heard Happy and Light Rose talking about that yesterday. That there is a little bit of the Villa feel from Fortress here with some of the smaller rooms, smaller hallways, 90 degrees that you need to try and fight through. So, you know, if you can block off some of that, give yourself a little bit of shield break to try and fight it out. And man, you called it, needing to hold down Horse, and that's exactly where Azami is just locked in, the top frag from the last map.
Yeah, not a bad place to have your Kiva barriers being able to be set up. And here it is, the site overplay. And it's a huge bit of a work here for the attacking teams. They got 4 members at least over here, including the Spearhead, the Shield, pushing in and trying to take that space. Grisbot's going to make it a little bit more difficult to see, and it's going to be a couple of shots that the grenade rings out. And look at this defense, just able to retreat, able to give some of that space up for free. And now you got to work on getting towards site and putting the pressure on there.
It's still pretty early on in this round, though. We're not even halfway through it at this point, and they've gained some space over on the dormitory side. So they're focused very much on the horizontal overtake at this point, playing some of that space upstairs to be able to make the transition. You can see Ellis holding on. Nas is ready for that combination with Cade. He had the C4 out. Is he going to give it a toss? No, he's gone back onto that DMR, but look at this. They're holding again. These type of angles. Ellis going to be the one to take the shot. Wait for just a moment.
Look at that, trying to get the reverse there. C4 is going to ring out. No, not before Ella's life has been claimed. So who gets the better trade here? Well, it looks like Kraken Seas comes up with the man advantage, but just barely and only technically, as Star has been taken down, but not officially confirmed just yet. So 3-3 as it sits, 3-2 as it starts to count down. 50 seconds left on the board to try to deal with it, and they are able to get Cade back up. So a 1v3 as Clipper's got to try to bring this one back single-handedly.
Man, the return of Terror himself gets ended as he picked up 3 on that round, opening this thing up. I know he was the subject of some of the chat going on. Didn't have the game he wanted in that first map, but what a way to start Fortress here on round 1. Kraken sees on defense pick up that win upstairs on the second floor. Again, not unexpected, as that is certainly the stronger of the sites, but now we get to see how Dorm's going to be played out. Imperium of Man certainly played that horizontal over, spending all of the time upstairs. Not a ton of focus on the vertical, no buck from down below. We'll see if they change up that strategy at all this time.
Attackers need to locate and defend
Yeah, it was too
bombs.
one-sided, right? It was too one-dimensional. It was a full focus, and we won't pretend to know what the comms are here to exactly like what the plan was going into that one. But it seems like we would like a little bit of extra support, maybe from that tower side, maybe from those that tower stair side as well, to kind of get your cut set, get and be able
Attackers have
to
located
force
a
some of
bomb.
those plays as you're taking the space. But again, no idea what the plan was on that one, so we're just gonna have to trust and believe that they had one going into it. And now we got to see how they're gonna attack the other side. It's gonna be similar with that site overplay directly, or we're gonna get some of these walls over them.
Yeah, I mean, all the barrier, the Kiba's going up this time, so pretty similar strat. And you know what the interesting one was, keep the DMRs in hand, keep as many of them on the table as you can, both the Tuberel and the Cade. I mean, since he's available, making this a little bit more difficult to get some sight lines in. To me, it feels like those breach and out operators have got a little bit more value on Fortress, specifically because the teams are still trying to find out what's the right place to gain some of those angles. And that felt like one of the things that Cloud9 was very much locked in on Friday, was they had angles that they were completely shutting down JJ and go on. They had those spots locked in, well prepped. So we'll see if Imperium Man, when they get on their defensive side, has taken some of those pieces of the defense in hand.
I love that the Kiba barriers are stalled up here. Demo called this the DMZ area, is where she's holding up. You've got access to the main breach, and you've got plenty of space to move around, but man, a swing onto the window is going to find his life forfeit, because he's going to just be put to 1-1 for the first couple.
He's going to take a couple of shots. There's the C4, but I was going to say, what a huge miss, unfortunate. There's the thermite coming out, no Cade on that one. That main breach. Try and look. Is this the spot they're going to be able to take some shots? Again, all focused upstairs. This time a little bit more direct on the dorm side as they're focused old tower. This is for sure on the dorm side an important push point. This is the place we're going to see that battle, and no way to TK.
Tough one. Stern taken off the board, and that's going to be the numbers equalizer here. Now, you got a cheeky angle with that Kiba barrier as Ella's looking to really just thwart getting inside on that door and putting any pressure onto it. They're going to go for a flash, see if they can get across, and they do just that. Into the DMZ now as the rotate is opened up, and now a potential chance to get the plant going is a real possibility.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he get a sight line there? And we're seeing the blue line through the chassis there, but man, you can hear the defender's phones just going off, but Imperium of Man not pushing the advantage at all. They're hanging back just a little bit. They have it in their hand. One battle, no, they lose it to put the defense up one man.
All right, so they're up by 24 seconds. We've seen this play out a little bit before. Shots onto the rotate's going to see the equalizer, though, as Jottle's able to find one. Now into a 2-2, but it's a low-health scenario for the attacking team. Bullets are going to have to be pixel perfect as they find one. They get down onto the Thatcher. A 1v2, and it's Jottles, who was the hero of the last round, gonna be absolutely shut down. Star's going to find both at the end.
All right, Kraken sees on fire on defense. I mean, if we had to say something about this team, they didn't win a Chalet, but the thing that they did have was a 4 round in a row streak on Chalet on defense, where they looked very locked. And You picked up primary, secondary here on Fortress. So again, if you're just joining us and haven't seen an awful lot of this map, didn't catch any of it from Cloud9 on Fridays is SILCQ games
Defenders,
here on the
protect your
Siege
bombs
Double
from
Shot.
being defused by attackers.
First floor, not the strongest defensive site, although it can be won by the defense. Certainly the second floors appear to be the more stronger site. So we're going to go
Attackers
ahead
have
and call
located a
this
bomb.
the tertiary site. I don't think we saw the other first floor site at all, not one time. The sitting side was not played. So everybody, if they had to go downstairs to the first floor, was looking at the cafeteria waiting side. And that's where we're going to be this time around. And Kraken sees on a decent start here defensively, my friend.
The test on the Tersh. What are we bringing to the table for that one? A little bit of intel with Solus. Castle is making sure that they're going to slow things down. Hold on to that extension, I imagine, although he's still on that first floor setting up towards that cafeteria side. So maybe it's an extension out instead of up. There's not a huge number or a huge amount of vertical on this map, right? Yes, there is some that looks directly in sight, but I think only one of the sites.
Yeah, only one. The other hatch is over on the laundry side. So waiting has a hatch, but the other one is on the laundry side, close to infirmary. So that's the place that they're doing battle. So Imperium of Man is looking like, yeah, they're focused upstairs. They're coming down this like the old tower side as well, trying to get some space over here on the courtyard. But they're gonna open up these sight lines direct on that first post. This team focused on coming down those stairs towards the corner of the infirmary side.
Look at all this teamwork coming together right now out of Imperium of Man, right? The comms must be going insane right now. The shooting out parts of the windows so the ex-Kairos can go through. It's the air jab as the Blackbeard takes a peek down, and now the flanks watch is just a bunch of moves that are in conjunction with each other. Very fluid-like, right? And that, of course, can lead to a bunch of wins, especially on the attack side of things. And they find that first kill as Nas goes down. Now that's man advantage over, and Solus is in a little bit of a bad spot. Takes a couple of shots, but it's trading back and forth, and they're going to get the down onto the Blackbeard. Huge retaliation.
Yeah, that's an insane play there, and although they're still low in the man count, the fact that they get the Blackbeard down significant boost to this game. More than half the round gone. Oh, wow! Negate is so close. Manchet walking across that open wall, not knowing that the defender was playing there. Kinte is ready for it, takes a shot one, and honestly, just bring around the Rosie all over for the trade at the end. No, Stokesy gets it.
Yeah, what a tough one. You kind of got away with one there if you're Stokesy, right? The back was turned, had the free shot, and then you end up losing your life to it. That's one you're going to look back in the VODs at later and go, dang it, what in the world was I doing there? 2-2 now. Less than a minute to go. Flash is going to start ringing out upstairs as they try to push him off of the hatch as they've retaken that one of them has retaken that top floor vertical presence. Soul is still a force to be reckoned with up on the top side. They've made their way just about into sight to start making that plant. They do have diffuser, and there it is, locked in the corner. The hold is there. No chance for a vertical, potentially. Pistol comes out. They're going to send another flash, and it's just going to fall apart. Just a quick couple of shots, and Imperium Man's going to take that one.
Oh, tragic. Although, not unexpected. If you're a Kraken Seas fan of defense, but Imperium of Man, you know what? There's a lot of fans in the chat there. So it goes the way we expected. Second floor sites go to the defense. First floor goes to the attack. Looking at a standard 4-2 split if we keep up that same level of intensity. So who's the players that made the biggest contribution at this point? Yeah, we're going to ban the Two-Brow again. Very similar ban from the Imperium of Man side to take the Two-Brow away from the Kraken Seas defense. And then I think that's a good call too. Dokkaebi was pretty annoying in the way that she had to, cause a little bit of chaos at the end of two of those rounds. So get rid of the Dokkaebi and give the Kraken Seas defense just a little bit more freedom to move around the map. I think that's a good call.
Okay.
Attackers
now they need an
locate and
adaptation.
defuse
Right
bomb.
now, you have to take it back up to the top floors, and at worst or best, you're looking at a 4-2 if we can't figure out a way to solve the problem that is the top floor. Hopefully, a little bit of a an adjustment here where they're getting a
Attackers
little
have
bit
located a
more
bomb.
split, right? A two-pronged approach, maybe opening up both sides of that. They've got tower side locked down, no rotate to be had. So playing off that stairs with help is going to be a little bit more tough because you can get isolated there for sure. We'll see if that's what they're going to do. They've got double breach denial on run, which means they're going to be trying to keep some walls closed.
I mean, lock it down. I think we talked about that early on in one of the other second floor sites is you bring along that breach and I'll make it a little bit more difficult to get those sight lines in, force the Imperium of Man attack to try and take some of those direct, or waste a bunch of time opening those up. So they didn't bring along any of the EMPs. They brought along the hard breach of the Hibana, so they've got plenty of opportunity to get those walls open, but they're going to be have to using the nades directly to try and clear out that breach, either from below or a little bit more direct on the commander side. So that thing is locked in, and we've got the Azami playing the same place, holding down the wall. That place is locked in. That's where the initial engagement is going to come from the Blackbeard, and because it's the shield, she backs off that spot maybe a little bit too quickly.
Well, Bandit gonna keep on making sure that keeps that tower closed, and I like that we've at least explored this side of it as far as a means to take some space. But again, it feels too one-dimensional, right? It feels a little bit like we're not putting enough pressure on both sides of it. So the entirety of the defense can just look at this side, wait, and watch. They open up. They're going to get the bandit charges off. But this E4 run could absolutely go huge. He's going to go ahead and send it out. They were walking for it, and they're not going to be able to take it down. Joddles finds it. A second one not going to be found. Also, or now not going to be found as they rotate around. Starting to put the pressure towards Horse. That's Blackbeard. He's going to go for the pinch, the punch, and they find one. Still onto the head hold there. Could come up with it. Blackbeard goes down. Now into a 4v2 as it's all going to be onto Stokesy and Void's shoulders. A tough one. A tough one. All up to Stokesy now as he tries to bring this one back, and he's outside of the map, which means that climb is going to look a lot bigger, a lot harder to do, especially with only 60 to get it done.
Well, the all-chat war is coming out like crazy. The beef between these two teams. I mean, talking about a couple of T4 looking to be T3 teams as they both changed up these rosters, trying to find the 5 stacks are going to get them all of the money that XGS has got on the line here. And you know what? It's just trying to get a little bit in the mental game. The change for this lineup, though, for sure, was losing the Blackbeard. That is when the Imperium of Man attack sort of fell apart, as they lost the shield, lost the ability to try and move around. The renovation push with the C4 over top of the wall just completely fell apart. At right now, goes for another C4, doesn't lose that battle. He's going to catch one. Kraken C's going to be have to be careful not to throw bodies at this.
And 5 seconds left. Almost no chance, especially with the double swing coming. Yeah, they find it, and it's no surprise that the second floor, that's going to go in favor of the defense. And, you know, honestly, would like to see a switch up on that. I know we don't know the comms. I know we don't know the plans, but just having a singular approach towards taking that top floor site feels like a miss, at least from what we've been seeing it so far. So, yeah, Imperium, they're going to take a timeout. They're going to talk about it, and when they come back, it's that second top floor site that they're going to have to deal with. And if they can come up with a win there, they're going to feel pretty solid going into their defensive half.
Man, I'm going to be honest. I thought for sure that when we saw the Blackbeard push into the horse window and put pressure on Azami, push her out of that position directly and early, it gave the team access basically to both sides of Commander. I thought this was going to be at least one of certainly a much better attacking setup, right? They have renovation, 3 players over on that side. Looked like they cleared off the electricity, the breach denial on that wall. Weren't going to get it open. The C4s completely derailed that. Blackbeard was out of position. Azami moved back in to gain control of Horse. And then the defense just slowly picked this attack team apart to the point where it fell apart, leaving them in a 1v3 at the end, and Kraken C's capitalized. So not only was it a second
Attackers need to locate and
offensive
defuse
win,
as many bombs
but
as
it
they
felt
can.
like Kraken C's did a much better job of picking the Imperium of Man attack apart, capitalizing on all of their mistakes.
Okay, on to the second site.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Defense have got themselves a little bit of a stronghold up here. Keep the barriers back in place. Still going to be keeping that wall closed. The tuber owl is going to make it a little bit easier to get it opened up as they're going double hard breach with the Thatcher involved.
10 seconds to insertion.
Honestly, I like that, especially with Cade being the only obstacle to keep it closed. This wall's going to get opened up for sure.
All right, my friend. So switching to the other second floor side again, not unexpected at this point. And man, a little bit of a trap op setup here from this team. The combination of both that the Agruly and the Frost. We saw one Frost map early on or in Chalet. Are we going to see another one over here? See the DMRs coming out in force though from the Imperium man side. Oh no, wait, looks like just I thought Blackbeard was gonna run one too, but he's got the AR, so it's Thatcher running that new DMR. Seems like it's been a fan favorite, I think.
I like the Thatcher. I honestly, I think it is a great work for it. And there it is. As the gadget goes out, they're going to be able to open up those doorways. Joddles, who was the hero of Imperium Man on the last one, just can't seem to get it going today, right? Or on this map. He's sitting at that 1 and 4. They get the trade going back, which is Nas going to be taken off the board for Stern, right? Which is a good thing. You've got that double hard breach still, which means you can get the wraparound. You still can get that single wall opened up and allow yourself to have that split push here.
This feels like one that Kraken has got on lots, but then Joddles picks up another. And he's only at 2 and 4 on this round, but was really significantly better on Chalet. So if he can carry some of that momentum forward, get a little bit hotter on this side, and be a force to be reckoned with. Stealth picked up 3 kills in that first round on that map, and then really struggled to get anything going after that. He's picked up 2 more there, 2 more though on this round. 5-2, and with him and a star both left alive, who's sitting at 5-1-1. They're in a great spot. A man down though with 55 seconds left. The attackers have got the diffuser, so this can work for them.
Need to get that equalizer here. They want any hope of getting into sight. The good thing is they have the diffuser. Flash is starting to go out. Do they know about the quick swing in the corner? He's pushed up. Double flash is going to ring out. He's just going to hold position on the door. They didn't know. They find one. Clip's going to take Stealth down as the trade happens. Now into a 1v2. Oh, almost gets rewarded with a collateral. Star's going to rotate around as he's looking to put him onto the rotate on the other side of it as well. Still into that old-fashioned 1v1. 16 seconds left. The gun battle just has to stay alive. No diffuser in hand to fake the plan. Has to go for the kill here. 9 seconds as the pre-fire's there. Not gonna have it. Star takes Joddles off the board.
We're seeing another defensive win on second floor on Fortress, my friend. No shock there. These guys are absolutely locked in. It feels like this is going to be the setup that we've seen going forward. 2F is the place to do battle. It was really only Oxygen that was able to pick up some of those first floor sites. So here we go, my friend. We are getting into it. Here's the big test from Imperium of Man. Are they going to try and pull off another first floor win to send us into a standard split, or is it going to be 5-1? And boy, the raid from XGS, the rest of this this community coming in to catch it, pick a great time to see Fortress.
Absolutely. Okay, so the test on the Tersh, the big question mark here for Kraken Seas, right? If they win this round, they're feeling excellent going into their attack. Even if they lose the first and the second, you're still going to find yourself in a wonderful position to win the series out, take us in to that map 3. So big pressure onto Imperium of Man right here to make sure that they send this on to a standard split so that they go on to the back half of this one feeling just okay.
Well, look at this. Star ready, going for a spawn peek. He's going to go for it. Look at this. Up the stairs.
Okay. Well,
Man,
the question was, could you still do it? The answer to that is yes. Yes, you can.
you know what? It seemed like like, what was the point? Just for the knowledge? I mean, you can figure that out in a ranked game, not in a competitive game to decide whether or not you're going to XGS to win all the money, my friend. What? Take that chance right now. But
Hey,
you're right.
listen.
The answer is yes.
It's a hero zero moment run. Somebody's up here. He gets the kill unexpectedly. He's an absolute legend for it. Nobody's there. He revives safe. So now everybody knows. There you go, chat. Lock it in.
Wild. What a play. And he wastes one of his impacts, takes down a castle barricade. I mean, there was really a lot of downside for trying to pull that off. But you know what? Let's reserve judgment. This is the one we're expecting the attackers to take a win on, though. So whether or not Star was worth it, but I think he's feeling really good. A lot of confidence in him right now. 7-1-1, the top frag on this team, and really feels like the guy who's been carrying this team a little bit at this point on Fortress. So this was Imperium of Man's map pick. They are up 1-0 in the best of 3, and it feels like they have really been struggling more than they should have if this was their map pick.
Man, tough one for that one to go down. Main advantage now into the hands of the attack, and you know what? Claim it by 2. Finally answering back as clip goes down, but the chase is on. Stokesy onto the blitz. It has a lock on as they're trying to make the rotate around, and instead it's going to be Star. Boss G and SMG 12 in hands to be able to put the pressure onto this, and they've claimed some good space now. Run, they've claimed a man advantage as well, so now it's just going to be about collapsing onto the site. There's plenty of time to still get that one done.
57 seconds, takes one shot, but no way. Star picks up a double, puts him at 9-1-1 with 50 seconds left. Man, this is the guy to beat. And right now, you still have got Jottles. Like we said, he had a hell of a game on Chalet, has not been able to find that same success. It's time to step up, brother.
Yeah, not going to be here either. He's going to go get taken off the board. Stealth going to be good for 2 as they claim that round. Oof. That's a tough one to find yourself in. That is a huge hill to climb. Is 5-1-1 on the defense. Now, obviously, defensive sided, but finding one on the first floor, that feels like a good play if you're Kraken Seas and if you're wanting a map 3.
Hell yeah, that's 3 in a row for them. 5 of the last 6 rounds. Very strong defensive half. Better than expected. They pull off better than the standard split, as well as adapting around the Imperium of Man win on that first floor. Of course, Star Rican picked up a double there. Huge play on the flank. I mean, and especially after he had sort of, had that little bit of the run outside just to test. It felt like he was throwing some of that away. So, you know what? W play by them and the whole team to pull this off. Now, they have to be able to pull it off on the attack side to send this thing to map 3. And we have NightHaven Labs on tap for the decider if Kraken Seas pulls this off. Imperium of Man, though, looking to get it done into and qualified. This is the final game of the XGS Open qualifiers. 0 more teams are going to qualify besides the winner of this best of 3.
All right. Well, let's get into it. The side swap.
Defenders,
The op
protect your
swap,
bombs
whatever
from
you
being
want to
defused by
call it.
attackers.
We're here to see what now Kraken Seas bring to the attacking side. On the defense, we talked about bans real quick. No surprises here as the Clash, the shield's taken off the board. Kind of one of those superstars at holding that critical push point area, specifically talking about the top of the stairs, specifically talking about Horse as well. So, yeah, no surprise to see it off the board. But honestly, Mira being left around for so many of these games recently has just been insane.
Yeah, it's a tough call, and it feels like Imperium of Man did a great job of managing around the Mira. Like they played Mira very well, so it feels like, tough call. The other thing is on Chalet, Two-Brow was an Imperium of Man stronghold. There was a couple incredible rounds from the Two-Brow run into the MR, so it feels like maybe a little bit of recency bias with Kraken Seas banning the Two-Brow to leave the Mira on the board. I feel like they can manage around her a little bit better, but they have the range breach available in the ace, and so they're going to run it this round. and they have the Hibana and the Ash, so they've got plenty of ways to deal with the mirror. So I think the strategy of taking the DMR out of their hands is where they wanted to go.
Still holding on. A few yellow pings ringing out, so they've got the intel. Field starting to make his way across the board here as they're going to put some they're going to try to put some contention onto this mirror shield. They've got the split play in hand. Doesn't quite get to take advantage of the shield though, so opens it up, ready for a second fight. C4 in hands. He's going to send it. No reward though. It's going to miss the mark, and that's going to still remain as 5-5. Claymore down to make sure that they're not going to get taken advantage. Okay, to make sure that they're not going to have the flank move being brought up to them, and some tracks also to secure that area. 5-5 as they're all alive with 1:30 left.
Minute 30, half the round long, all 10 left alive in the server. We haven't really seen that very often. There's only one round that came down to 9 left alive in that final 35 seconds. Most of those, we've had some opening engagements between the two teams, so it feels like they're taking a little bit more of a slower approach to the map. That does not feel like it bodes well for Kraken Seas. They did better when they were playing a little bit more aggressive, and now they've lost to 2 of their big players. Star Rican's still alive, though. I mean, you're sitting at a 2v5, though. That is going to make it difficult.
No surprise we find ourselves in 1v4. Star's been incredible as he's only seen death once, so finding 4, definitely a possibility here for the Star of Kraken Seas, but it's a little bit of a hurry up and wait scenario. 43 seconds left. Get yourself a bit of a faux timeout. Talk about it just a bit. Try to solve some of those mistakes that you saw in the first part of the round. Looking at getting a little closer to tying it up with this one.
10-1. He's not going to win this round. He maybe is going to pick up a kill or 2 to pad that KD. But, I mean, sitting at a 10 KD right now, he's going to go to 5 in just a second. So he loses this one. But, man, they had a great run. Good defense here picking up this one.
There it is. Easy peasy. Second floor is going to be handled, which means we got to see the second now. Like what they brought to the table. Like how spread out it was. It just was good time management, good util management, and they find themselves a win for it. It's a slow climb back from a 1-5, but that's a good first step in doing so.
I mean, it's the place we expect them to find those wins. So second story, they pick up Commander. Like you said early on, that's sort of the first place we're seeing everybody go. So now we get to see the dorm side. Kraken Seas, I mean, felt like a little disjointed in their approach to that site. Maybe, again, this is, a little bit easier to set up the strats on the defensive side than decide how you want to try and manage this attack. So what we saw be really successful from the Cloud9 side was, a focus on Old Tower, on the game's hallway to try and put pressure direct on this site. Open up like from briefing into dormitory to try and get a plant down real close to the chassis. That seemed like that worked very well. It's on top of a hard floor, so you don't have to worry about the breach from down below.
10 seconds to insertion.
Or you try and go the commander side, horizontal over, gain a little bit of space in horse, cut through bathroom, focus on briefing. Right, both of those I think we found success. We saw Cloud9 be successful on a couple of those, but even JJ and Co was very good at defending this Storm's gaming side. So it's a tough call right now early on. Let's see how Kraken Seas respond. We saw a 2v5 on Chalet that turned into a 6-5. Is the same thing going to happen, or we're going to see an unbelievable defensive half here from Imperium of Man?
My guess is probably, yeah, right? This is what they've been prepping for, is trying to make sure that they've got enough attention to detail that they can bring it back on the defense. They didn't do quite as well as they wanted on attack. So all the way back, I don't know. That's the big question. That was the impactful round on the last one, but damn close,
Attackers have
absolutely.
located a bomb.
Warden sits in the DMZ is now, we're finding Monty starting to make that push up towards the wall, get it open so they can clear out this B site and get themselves in a good place for an execute.
Oh, huge opening pick. Now, they didn't take down the top frag. He's playing thick lock, which is, not something that we see very often. But when you got to worry about the flank on this, there's several sets of stairs, lots of mobility here for the defense. They don't have any other sort of roam clear because no Dokubi on the board. The Twitch is gone at this point, but look at this, trying to just burn some utility, use the Monty, and what a shot from him. Rican taking it down and even this man count up at 3-3. Now it's more than half the round gone at this point. Still have got to open up some of these sight lines, and there it is, getting set up for that game's side defuse.
Yeah, huge. Now they've taken, honestly, some of those really critical spaces, right? They've got the DMZ, they've got those single wall opened up, they've got diffuser in hand, so an equalizer here could spell disaster for Imperium of Man, and that's going to do it. There's the equalizer, now down into a 2-2. They've got the idea where it is. It's a C4 shot out of the air. NightHaven Labs pays off as they're able to stay alive just a little bit longer. Now the hold. The cross is in place. The plant's starting to go down. They're going to go ahead and stick this thing as it's a post-plant scenario. They find one onto the defense. The one answered back, but it's going to be the double. She comes up with one there.
That is the strategy we saw work upstairs for the attack. That is going to be the place and the way that we're going to do this. Games plant with coverage from the gaming hallway right by the old stairs on that main breach. If they can get, if the dormitory rotate is open, you have got direct sight lines into dorms from both the door that's already there and the breach between dorms. That worked very well for this attack team, and we saw that go crazy in the SILCQs as well. Same strat. Somebody was watching the pros, and Kraken sees freaking it off and puts themselves a match point scenario for map 2. Map 3, my friend, looks like it is here. Now just one round away from Kraken seats, unless Imperium of Man, it can be perfect on defense, and they're going to run it back upstairs before moving downstairs to the more difficult to defend first floor. Can they pull off a 2F dorms game hold one more time and win it?
Okay. The stakes are high for sure for map number 3. Mirror still on the board, trip connectors to slow you down, anticipating some of that shield play as they've got it right on that drop, which made it so difficult last time. He was able to push up, they were able to take that space, they forced the player off DMZ near vending, and then were able to just get in, find the plant. Good night. Looking to do something similar, but the defense has got something to say about it, Run, as that new DMR is on the board for Nook as well. Didn't see that one come into pocket. Haven't got to see too much of that thing just yet. When we have, it's been absolutely devastating.
Yeah, we said fan favorite. We haven't, Thatcher when he's banned out. Still feels like the teams are still trying to decide what's the best use for him, even though for sure we talked about it in the ranked games. I think his utility has gone through the roof, and we're going to continue to see Thatcher make more of an appearance as teams get more comfortable at where exactly they want to try and use him. And that DMR, we're in the DMR meta for sure in Siege at this point. So when you have the option and can run it and you're comfortable with it, yeah, man, it's the right play at the right time. So, and if you're going to try Nook as well, give yourself a little bit of a lurk, move around this map. We talked about it having some similarities to Villa with lots of rooms, lots of tight hallways. And I think that gives Nook a little bit of added value here on Fortress. Haven't seen a lot of teams utilize that strategy yet, but you know what? Props to Kraken Seas for trying it out. And then backed up by the Monster as well. Worked very well for Stout. They're talking at 7, 6, and 6. And tons of assists over here on the Kraken C side.
I do like utilizing the Nook here on the new map. All the defaults, maybe you forget where exactly one is at. The Nook, not a problem for them. They made their way all the way up, though, as they start to put some pressure directly on the site. Monty taking a peek. Ash opening some of this stuff up. Defense getting back closer and closer together into the corner, and that's not what you want as a defender, right? Because then all of a sudden, it is the cut set up. You make one wrong rotate, and you are done and dusted off the board. 57 seconds now as it starts to count down. Monty taking a peek in through the door, knows he's got one prone or not prone, close onto the door to take that fight. Joddles goes down as the DMR rings out. Kraken sees now claims that man advantage with 41 seconds left. And then that starts to feel good at seeing a map number 3. Defense rotating around, another couple of shots. As Stern now gets a little bit of damage. Still has a C4 in hand. Still can get long if he can get into a good space to do it, but they've opened everything up run. They've got plenty of opportunities with cuts in place. All they got to do is get slightly inside and start to go for it. Stokesy's able to take Nas off the board, so the numbers get equalized. 17 seconds left, still holding on to it. There it was. Stokesy C4 is going to find one. The trades ring out, and that's going to be Imperium, a man finding another one.
Holy cow, it came down to it and just a trade for trade battle at the end. And man, it came right down to it. Kraken Seas could have pulled that off. And for those of you that are looking for a map 3, you want to root against the comeback here from Imperium of Man and want Kraken Seas to pick up this win ASAP to send us to NightHaven. If Imperium of Man, the Warhammer gods, pulled this thing off, it's over. They're already 1-0 in this best of 3, looking to qualify for XGS Season 8. And yeah, Season 8, there was a little bit of discussion on the format, and we have Battery in the channel to answer some of those questions. But yeah, it's a short season. Closed qualifiers next weekend, on to the playoffs, and $3 grand waiting for the winners. You know what? A lot of money on the table, a lot of prestige for picking up an XGS win.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they
perfect
can.
for 4 run. That's a good start to it. Now they head back over to the other side of this 2F appearance, locking down both of the walls on that tower drop side. And again, double breach now. So not just longevity of the walls, but longevity of also those mirror windows.
10 seconds remaining.
Man, just right now, if you're a Kraken Seas fan looking for these guys to shut this thing down, got a great opportunity here of the Imperium Man though. First floor site. Have not seen a first floor site defensive. Oh, never mind. I was going to say we haven't seen a defensive win. Kraken Seas pulled it off though. They managed to find a win. Never mind. I've not seen an attacking win on you know what? Yeah, Happy said it yesterday. Don't do math on stream. That's where I'm at right now, brother. That's where I'm at right now.
I feel that. Well, and good thing too, because we're up on the 2nd floor. So first floor statistics be damned until we get there. Defense or the attacking side brought along a couple of cheese ops, Ying's on the board, Glass on the board. Make sure they're not getting flanked up on by the gridlock, of course, and then the all-important, the powerful Blackbeard to take up some of that space. You can see already a dedication by the defense to holding on to that horse area. But look at this. Twitch is going to try to put some pressure on early and do a little bit of a pincher move here with Blackbeard, who has already positioned himself on the stairs. They watch for the flank. Nobody's going to be there, and that's the problem. You got to have somebody there. You got it for free. And now it's going to be opening up that wall, putting pressure onto horse, and you're going to be able to set yourself up for an execute potentially.
Yeah, they've got this thing locked down. The combination of both the Cade and the Bandit, and you heard the Aruna Gate just burning some of this youth. So the problem is the Kraken Seas attack has got tons of throwable utility. Gridlock by herself can burn basically every single projectile of the knife that they have on top of the Ying Candelas, and you can hear them start going off. They're making this push in, holding on to the museum side. There it is, Blackbeard looking, waiting, watching, backed up by all those Ying Candelas. Oh, no way, but it is completely falling apart as Stealth goes down.
Yeah, 100% defensive attack mode is they saw what was coming and they just pushed right into it, unafraid of Candelas, unafraid of the shields, unafraid of the grenades. They hold the line, they hold the ground, and now they're 2 away from tying it up.
Okay, all right. Not unexpected to see a 2nd floor. You said it's a defensive win. So Kraken Seas pulled it off on dorms on round 8. Imperium of Man answers back, adapts, finds the win on the second floor that they should have. They get the opportunity to rotate back to Commander, which they won back on round 7. So that's 2 times they've won upstairs on Commander. So now it's the first floor site. Got these stats back in line. Imperium Man did win this site back on round 3. Kraken Seas answered back, though, and had a great solution for this. So that's the question. Now, on defense, on the weaker
Defenders, protect your bombs from
3
being
sites
defused
here
by
to start
attackers.
off with, can Imperium Man hold them off? If they do, if they can find a defensive win here, they're going to get to go upstairs again to the
Discover
2F,
the location of
the
a
stronger sites, and that seems very likely to see an overtime at that point. The problem is that they have to find a win here on the first floor in the cafeteria waiting side, and that is typically the stronger attacking site. So if Kraken Seas, though, cannot make any mistakes, they have to be perfect, and they have to fight through a combination of intel and breach tonight with both the Valkyrie and the Kate on the
10
board,
seconds left
plus
before
the
insertion.
Legion traps there, and then the area denial of the Goyo, and that, man, having the vector in hand makes this a very difficult play. So good choices on both sides, my friend. All of the throwables in hand and no projectile deny from Imperium of Man, as that could be the difference maker on this round.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe they did some VOD review of the Oxygen game yesterday and watched how they won that first floor against a tier 1 team. We're going to take a look. They've got a couple of cheeses. You said it. Rotero Drone's going to get in there and try to do some disruption. I think the big thing it's going to be to focus on is those Goyo charges, those Banshees, of course, and then, of course, surviving the C4 ultimately that will come from Valkyrie based off the cams. Poised on horse, and there it is. Blitz is just going to send it straight in, and they've claimed a good area already into the bathroom as the Deimos ping goes out. They're trying to take some damage, but they're not going to find it just yet. Ying's able to take the first as Goyo goes down, so main advantage now to Kraken Seas is they take a huge bit of real estate, and they do it very early on.
Oh, so huge there to lose the Goyo. Now, all of his passive utility is up. The Goyo canister is in place, but what a opening pick here. That is going to put this Imperium Man team on the back foot for the next minute 45. Nearly half the round gone at this point. And look at this, the shots up through the floor. He gets it! No way, able to take down the top frag on the other side of the map. Man, leaving the cheese ops on the board for the Kraken Seas attack. The combination of the Blitz and the Ying now down. What a shot through the floor from Stokesy.
Man, Blitz with some happy feet as he starts to rotate on around and just boogie in, trying to make sure that he can link up with the team. They got to find one to get the equalizer here to even have a chance at potentially getting the plant down. And it's going to start with that Valkyrie, right? They've got the C4 still on the board. Those impacts in the hands of Malusi also can be devastating towards that final bit of a push. And Blitz, now he's going to take a look at it. Legion in a little bit of danger as they start to make the pincher move onto him. Smokes come out as he's trapped into it, and they're going to take the shot, and he's going to be rewarded for it. Nas takes him off the board. Legion Goo into the chew. Now as the last 49 seconds starts to ring out. Intel gone and damned as the hatch drop happens from the defensive side of it. So now Yin Candelas are out, and they've got a potential to pinch that guy in that bathroom's corridor.
Self-flash there at the end. Oh, tragic here, but look at this. A huge pick there from Kinte. 2v3 with 25 seconds left. This Kraken Seas, is it going to be the victory to send it to map 3?
Oh, it's up to Joddles now to bring this one back into contention. They take one, still having the plant to go down, and that's going to be the last bit of Candelas. No C4 in hand to deny it from the long distance. He gets it down onto the floors, and now it's through the fire as Ying is living up to that exact thing, and the diffuser is down. Not going to be able to do it. Has to go for the kills, but it's not going to be there. Defense is going to be in a good position to find themselves another round win and get that much closer to tying this up.
Oh, what a... Man, the Kraken Seas attack just fell apart there at the end when it looked like they picked up a couple of huge kills. Blitz was on fire, but you know what the difference maker was on that round? Stokesy and the Legion. He gets the kill through the floorboards in Old Tower, and then the Legion mines, the Goose, were just perfectly placed all the way around that map. I think he had 5 of the 6 hit the attackers.
Attackers need to locate
Wrong
and
place,
defuse as many
wrong
bombs as
time
they
for the
can.
attackers all over. They lose the first floor, their best opportunity to close this map out, and now Imperium of Man gets to go on defense on the second floor. We did see over here on the dorm side,
Attackers have located a
Kraken
bomb.
Seas pick up a win back on round 8, but that feels like forever ago at this point.
Yeah, incredibly important round for Kraken, right? You need to close this one out. You need to force a map 3, and unfortunately for you, now that you lost to the first floor, is you need to do it up
10
on
seconds
2F.
remaining.
Tough place to find yourself. Kind of interchangeable about which one is going to be that primary, secondary site. This time it's going to be non-commander to start this one out. They're still going to have shields on the other side of it. They did get the Monty off the board in the recent ban, followed up with the Azami, getting those Kiba bearers are out. So bringing out a couple of different operators to try and deal with that as well. Still bringing the Mira, still having those trip connectors as well.
Yeah, they won Commander back on round 10, so they had to go dorms. Now they did win dorms back on round 9, so this is 3 in a row for Imperium of Man. They're looking for number 4 in a row to send it to overtime. We said it, Kraken Seas did find a win on this site previously, and it was the game's push, right? Coming down Old Tower, claiming Games Hallway, opening up the single from Old and into Games to hold the crosses. That worked surprisingly well. Now the question is, can they pull that magic off again? Right now, it looks like they're setting up for more of the horizontal overtake. This combination of the Glaz Mav combo, which we saw this from Cloud9 and from JJ on this map. It was not nearly as successful as it is on some of the other places like Basement on NightHaven. But you know what? Go ahead and gain some of this space. Fight for horse, gain some of this horizontal over, because right now Imperium Man feels like they've given up all of this map control, inviting them over. And honestly, the little bit of the spread out defense felt like it was working. A little bit of a boost here for the Kraken Seas attack.
Starting to open it up here. Get some walls opened up, and huge gifted. Thank you so much, Searle, for the gifted subs. And to anyone that got one, please make sure and say thank you and enjoy those custom emotes. Hey, do yourselves a favor. Searle's running that Glisten League. It is a fun league to get involved with. Going to be some a nice prize pool and some W talent. Get involved with it. Head over to his Discord and register for the tournament. Could be an absolute blast. Appreciate you, Searle. First one's off the board run. Glass is done and dusted.
Yeah, losing the Glass is definitely a huge loss here for this team, unfortunately. And when you're talking about fighting for that overtime victory, you wanted the Glass Mav combo to be able to hold those crosses from the game side. They've got the shield that's trying to make the push in, but oh no, lose the ace as well. Huge loss here from this team. Imperium Man looks like they're about to close this thing out and send it to overtime for the second map in a row. But man, no way. A flawless is going to be the way they pull it off.
Man, it's so tough, right? You needed to win that first floor site. Having to try to do it on the one that the other team is so comfortable in just spells disaster. And what does disaster look like? It looks flawless from here.
Oh man, what a game. If you're just joining us, if you came over from the XGS side, if you got a sub from Searle, thank you very much for the gifted. I know we get to say that often on this channel, and you know what? We could probably match that, my friends. We appreciate you all being here, joining us, waiting, watching as we get down to overtime. Now, this is map 2 of the best of 3. Imperium of Man pulled off the comeback. So if you wanted to see map 3, you were hoping Kraken Seas was going to close this thing out, but so far they've been unable to do that. They've been on match point scenario on both of the maps so far, unable to close it out, and they lose in overtime on map 1. Can Kraken Seas pull it off here? They have to win. It's a must-win scenario for Kraken Seas to make it to map 3 to give them an option. Otherwise, Imperium of Man wins earns that spot to XGS Season 8 closed qualifiers next weekend to do battle with all of the qualified teams.
Overtime. Sheesh. If you're Kraken Seas, you're going, what in the world just happened? On the precipice for 4 rounds of taking it to a map 3, having a shot at making it, of moving it on, and now you're in the fight for your life. And not just your life for this map, but your
Attackers need
life
to locate
in
and defuse
XGS
bombs.
as a whole. Gotta stop that momentum. W gifted subs by Searle as he responds with 5 more. Sure appreciate the heck out of you.
Yo! No, wait. You know what? I was so focused on some gifted subs at that point that Oh wait, are we having a rehost? Do we have a rehost happen?
It feels like a
brother.
rehost. Yep.
Wild. Okay. We're gonna go to cams for just a second. Let me figure that out for 2 seconds to figure out what in the hell just happened at the end of that one. That can't be over. That can't be it, my friends. There's no way forfeit to send it in. That's wild. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna watch Oxygen and Dark Zero for 2 seconds while we figure that out.
Ayo.
Let's go.
For Dark Zero, just at face value.
What's up and welcome back. Rehost done and dusted. And is going to find ourselves tied up the beginning of overtime. Wiped the slates clean. 6-6. The next couple of scores
Defenders,
could see somebody
protect your
moving
bombs
on,
from being
or it could
defused
see
by
a map
attackers.
3. At least on Fortress. Too close to call.
Unbelievable, man. There was so much hype at the end of that thing. I thought we were right there. We were going to see the win, and then, oh, no. What happened? It just sort of fell apart at the end. Man, so close, my friend. So close.
Attackers
Now,
have
here's the
discovered
thing.
location
We
of a
talked
bomb.
about this. Kraken sees 1 round away for, honestly, half this map. Imperium of Man goes 4 in a row, nearly perfect on this, and we saw a 1-5 defensive side on both halves on Fortress. Right, even more defensive side than we were expecting with the way that this one is played out. So, the big difference was first floor defensive wins to send it to OT. So Imperium Man gets the boost. They start off on defense on both of theirs. So if you want to see that map through, if you want to see NightHaven, we need Kraken Seas to come freaking alive on attack.
Okay, who'd they bring along to do that? It's Deimos back on the board. He was that powerhouse down below, and potential to see the Stern to see that first engagement against them if they don't know that he is down below playing in that role. And Blitz is actually on the hunt as well. So they've got an idea. They've got the pings out there waiting for any potential rotate. And as soon as Deimos gets his ping, they're going to put the pressure onto that Solus immediately.
Now, they've definitely been more shield heavy on both sides of the map at this point, right? Using the shields as the way to try and gain some space, gain a lot of intel, play off the back of it, right? We talked about small hallways, lots of rooms, lots of opportunity for the roam. And it hasn't been a lot of lurk, a lot of roam game in general. But because the map has got a lot of space that you need to try and play the over, well, just as I say, there's not a lot of roam. Downstairs on the first floor, man, he wins that battle. Crazy, my friend. What a play. And he was, I'm pretty sure, the top frag overall here for Imperium of Man.
Yeah, that was a tough one, right? You knew he was down there, you're putting the pressure on, and then all of a sudden, you're roam clear, it gets dealt with. You're down there solo, so unfortunately, that can happen, especially when you get surprised. No pings going out to let him know where he's at, and that's a life forfeit. They did get it opened up, however. Blitz now in a good position to start put the pressure direct towards site, towards that bathroom, but he's got a left-right situation here to deal with before he can even bunch in or Blitz gets dusted immediately.
Man, it's been Stearns that just continues to stack up his kill count, too. He was the frag leader sitting at 13 before the rehost. Now at 15. How about
Crazy.
16?
Oh. Man, almost brings out the ace there as they just stack up on the door, and and just get absolutely devastated. And that's the problem with such a linear push, right? Such a one-dimensional push is that you're all there for the death, right? Somebody in a great position with a solid hold point and the first one being caught unaware, then unfortunately, that's the way it goes down. So needing a little bit more of that two-pronged approach here out of this Kraken Seas attack, because this one-dimensional, this one-directional is just having terrible repercussions.
Man, what a play. Just, I mean, yeah, keeping track of where they were at. And another 7-6. You've got to be kidding me. Imperium of Man is absolutely on fire. Kraken Seas struggling right now. Man, I can't believe that they have been sitting at 6-5 on every single, on both of these maps. On match point now. We're going to have to go back and look, because I think they were on match point for a total of 6 rounds between the two maps, and managed to lose the first, and they are on the verge of losing the second. Now, the good news is they get to play defense, take it to Commander. They never lost to this site on their defensive half. So I feel very good about this. If you're a Kraken Seas fan and want to see them pick this one up, this is the place certainly to do it. Much stronger site. Now, problem is that it's been all Imperium of Man. That's 5 rounds in a row for them to go up 7-6. They took it from a 2-6 to a 7-6. What a freaking play.
That can just be demoralizing. Talk about a mental shock. Where you've got it sealed up, the hopes of seeing the map 3 and potentially living out the rest of your dream of XGS, getting dashed away round by round by round. It doesn't seem like there's much that anybody can do about it at the moment. So a huge adaptation is going to be needed by Kraken Seas. They pull out the double breach denial for defense as Cade and Bandit are on the board, still bringing along those key barriers because the zombie was allowed to stay. This is a good play. This is a good defense to try and do it. Potentially, this one might come down to all 15 being needed.
Man, if this is the place to do it, right? If we see the defensive win here, it's going to be one of the first times, the only time in this game that we saw a second floor defensive win for this, or attacking win for this Imperium of Man. But to lose him again, right? He has been the opening death on so many of this rounds, as honestly feels like a pretty tragic way that this thing has played out. At taking too many chances, challenging this Imperium of Man team too often, it has just been not working out. Now, they're going to go ahead and open up this commander wall, the main breach, to take a look at, take a couple shots in. Easily opened that up using the just nading off the top of that wall. So this one does not feel like, even with the Bandit in play, that it's easy to try and block that. It's almost going to be guaranteed to be opened by the attack.
Well, they do just that. Now they've got themselves a pretty good place to push in and start to get their plant going down. They've claimed that man advantage. Minute and a half. Now it's going to put some pressure onto the horse area, which is kind of that last line of defense. Jello's going to take him off the board, which means now man advantage by 2 finally answered back as Stealthy's able to take a clip down, but damage still being done. There's a C4 in hand, but there's going to be a grenade from the other side that's going to find it. Now it's all going to be up to that C4. 2 downs, though. Stokesy and Stern go down, which means now into basically a 2v1. Diffuser is in hand, so 1 to cross and 1 to hold is potentially to be the play, except for he's going to find the kill. No way! Imperium of Man find it on the very last one. Looked like a comeback starting to happen, and then just shut down. A pistol pop, a body drop, and Imperium of Man is going to knock out Kraken Seas.
Man, huge victory there for Imperium of Man, and you said it, 8-6 victory. It was only 2 maps required as we bring it back, my friends. Oh, heartbreaking loss for the Kraken Seas fans out there. They go down 2-0, but big GGs to Imperium of Man. Man, they managed to pull it off. The Human Empire. This is it, my friend. They earn the final spots to XGS Season 8. Now it's time for closed qualifiers next weekend. We appreciate everybody being here with us for this entire best of 3 that only took 2 while the main stream was going on. We appreciate you being here, supporting the T3 teams, fighting for their spot, fighting for their money in XGS.
That's right. It was a blast. GG's to Imperium, a man, and of course, valiant attempt by Kraken Seas, but it's the proverbial bus ride home for one and moving on for the other. Man, I can't believe it's already over, right? Been watching Siege all day. It's actually been a huge weekend of Siege right now, right? From everything from the T2 Warlords of Project Zero making their spot in over in the EU, just absolutely huge. And then, of course, the battle that's currently going on right now. Dark Zero, Oxygen fighting it out for that one last spot. Only one can make it to go in. And then, of course, it's just been fun. The community casts, the community as a whole, all the subs, all the follows, just a really amazing weekend here for the Whiskey Boys. And if you want more of it, there's several places in which that you can do that. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at glitter_whiskey. He's at racing ENGR, and together we are the Siege Double Shot. Your one-stop shop for T4 to T1 and everything in between and all the fun, my friends. And if you want to play some games with us, we do a bunch, right? CS, CS, Siege, Call of Duty, Rocket League. We're always playing all kinds of runs of Fortnite expert. We're always playing all kinds of games. Come join up into the Discord. It's discord.gg/doubleshot. And just come hang. We love talking Siege. Post your clips, guess your ranks, all that fun stuff. We've got some more Siege coming at you, including the debut of a new league, Glisten, which we'll be taking a big part in, I believe. I think today is the last day that you can register for that tournament. For some of you bigger teams out there, it's going to be freelo. For some of you lower ranked teams, it's your chance to get established, right? Get going, and there's a prize pool to boot. We're going to be following that one close. So get with Searle, get with Glisten, follow him on Twitter. It's going to be a fun league to be involved with. But for us, Whiskey, that's it. Only thing else I can do is say, the only thing else I can do is say, make sure to go get your merch. Eat, Sleep, Siege. It's out right now.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the merch is out there. Command in the chat. And yeah, next weekend is the SAL, SASI, LCQs. That's a lot of acronyms, but the South America League 6 Invitational Last Chance Qualifier, EUNA done this weekend. And honestly, huge. We got to spend some time with Project Zero as a part of the Spoy Contenders series, and those guys were unbelievable. Fantastic group of guys to hang out with, and glad to see that they picked up that spot. They fought for it and won it. And then on the NA side, yeah, we're going to check out the end of it here, but next weekend is South America League. And we're going to see some T1 teams doing battle there that have not qualified. Liquid and Black Dragons both did not have enough SI points, so they are fighting in the last chance qualifiers. And we will be there on Friday to catch all of that action as well. So that's coming up next weekend, my friend. Man, I'm looking forward to it.
That's right. So we've come to the dreaded part of the evening, folks, where we must, alas, bid you adieu. As the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo.
Let's go.